Welcome to the maiden episode of the fourth scheduled podcast. My name is Emmanuel Obiabo and I am your host. The fourth scheduled podcast is a platform where we will be bringing seasoned professionals and stakeholders as guests to discuss issues and foster actions about local governments of Nigeria, with present focus on the area councils of the FCT. The podcast is an initiative of Statecraft Foundation and supported by the Nigeria Youth's Future Fund. You can follow us on all social media platforms using the handles displayed on the screen to keep tabs with the podcast and other activities of the project. On today's episode, we shall be focusing on the overview of the local governments of Nigeria and ongoing efforts towards their progress and development. And with me here in the studio are Ekele Jeremiah Akwu.
Thank you for having me.
And then we also have Christiana Shekwoyemilo Tukura.
Thank you for having me.
So it is generally believed that local governments are not living up to expectations. Do you agree with this assertion? And what's your opinion on this?
Okay, first of all, I don't believe it's an assertion. It is the truth and it is the fact. Local governments and area councils are actually underperforming. Why? Let's talk about the functions of the area councils in FCT. They are to provide good roads, primary health care centers, and waste management, functional waste management systems. So let's start with the primary health care centers, and I'll give a case study of the Kwali area councils. Mm-hmm. One of the community there in Ijapada, they have a primary health care center that is not functional. And then let's go forward to Abaji. In Abaji, we have communities that don't have functional area councils, and they depend on NGOs and volunteer health workers. Sometimes they have to share these primary health care centers with other villages, so making it overcrowded, and so many people don't have access to good health. Then let's talk about good roads. In the Lanto community in Kuje area councils, they don't have a good road that will connect them to the neighboring community. And you have to cross a river before you can access this community. So making it during the raining seasons, you hardly can visit the village, and then children are barely able to go to school because they just have a primary school there without a secondary school. So before you can go to a secondary school, you have to go to the next community. So they are both lacking in the provision of good roads and also the primary schools.
So it has a multiplier effect on other activities of the community.
Yes.
You've made some very good points, but I want to also be specific as to what the functions of the local governments or the area councils are. Because some of the things you mentioned, it might be surprising to know that it's possibly not their functions. I don't know. Jeremiah, do you want to share about what functions the area council are supposed to be undertaking?
Yes, I intend to make portraits on the points she made. Mm-hmm. She made a very striking point when she said it's not just a perception, but the fact that area councils and local governments in Nigeria are underperforming. Right now, talking about the functions of the area council, they are in metropolitan area of the FCT. You can see a place where refuse are dumped on the road, which is not supposed to be so. One of the major functions, or one of the functions that is stated in the Constitution regarding the function of the area council and the function of local government is waste management, provision of primary health care, provision of primary education, right? Construction of local roads. Now, if we measure local government performance based on this function, it's a fact that they are underperforming.
So, is there, I don't know, I didn't recall you mentioning, is there a document that these functions can be found?
Yes, it's stated categorically, clearly stated in the fourth schedule of the 1999 Constitution as amended.
that they should be responsible
Yes,
for
very
local roads.
clearly stated.
They
Clearly
should be
stated, yes.
responsible. So I don't know why. What could be the reasons why they are not carrying out those functions?
Okay,
and that would also lead me to my next question.
Okay, this is not to make excuses for local government and area councils in Nigeria. I believe that before the Supreme Court judgment, which we know about last year on the 11th of July thereabout, local government had no autonomy, right? So they can make excuses that, oh, we don't have financial autonomy, we don't have the resources to do some of these things, right? But over a year now, and we cannot see improvement. Meanwhile, there are billions being shot down into the local government and area councils.
I get your point. We can talk, but can we understand if there are ongoing efforts to address these gaps? Are there ongoing efforts at all? Maybe by the government, by stakeholders? Are there ongoing efforts?
Yes, there are ongoing efforts. First of all, the first effort that has been made is the suing of state government by the federal government, which led to the declaration or the judgment that gave autonomy, financial and political autonomy to the local government. However, there are other organizations. Some of them are that are supported by the NYFF that are already implementing projects to make sure that these gaps are filled, right? And we in Statecraft Foundation also, we are doing that. So there are ongoing efforts, and we are trying our best to see that we bring in the government stakeholders and individual stakeholders to make sure that these gaps are filled. Because when everybody is looking up to the federal government, meanwhile, some of these things are not even related to the function of the federal government. We should start looking at the area councils.
Okay, so...
And then this NYFF, they support youth-led organizations to demand accountability and then support influence governance at the grassroots level. So they can demand, when they support these youth-led organizations, they give them grants, just like the Statecraft Foundation, and we have a project ongoing at the organization.
So you mentioned Statecraft Foundation being one of the players. You had mentioned the Supreme Court judgment. I recall the Supreme Court judgment of July 2024 that clearly that passed a judgment on the autonomy of the local government, stating that the local government should have access to their finances, unrestricted access. And also the state governors do not have any right to possibly suspend or have the usual culprit. We have what they call caretaker committees, established caretaker committees.
Yes.
You've also mentioned the ongoing effort by Statecraft Foundation and other partners, but I would want you to touch more on that. What exactly is Statecraft Foundation doing in this regard? What are you doing with that regards?
Okay, let me start answering the question first. Statecraft Foundation, we are implementing the localizing autonomy in the FCT Area Council, which we tag LAFAC. Now, after the judgment, right, we discovered that people are not really aware of the function of local government and the area councils in the FCT. So we are bringing, after discovering the gaps, right, that the area council are meant to fill, which they are not filling, we come up with this project. And the purpose of this project is to consolidate, the goal is to consolidate the function of the area council across the FCT with different activities. One of the activities is simplifying and amplifying the key economic indices, such as the budget and FAC allocation. Now, we want to bring forth these indices so that people may know what their area council are receiving and what they should use the allocation for. So we need to simplify this thing and amplify it and bring it for the people to see. Another of activity we are carrying out in this project is training fellows on the use of advocacy and FOI.
What is FOI? Just for
Freedom
the
of Information.
Okay.
The Freedom of Information Act is an act that give the people the right to demand for any specific information across public sector, right? So we train people on that as fellows of LAFAC to demand for, because majority of area council and the local government generally, their budget is not out there, right? So we train people on it to be able to know how to go about it, to demand for the documents, the financial documents or other documents that relate to the area council.
Okay, so you spoke about training.
Yes.
And you also spoke about simplifying the key economic indices.
Yes.
Why, I mean, one would want to ask, is that a problem we are facing? How does that contribute?
Okay, so it is not a problem. We identify the gaps that we have. We have service delivery gaps, and infrastructure gaps. So this simplifying and amplifying these key issues, the trends, they are to call for actions. When we disseminate them to the public, they'll serve as a call to action to the government, to stakeholders, and also to public. It serves as an advocacy to the public.
Okay, let me chip in a little bit. It is not directly the problem, but however, it is trying to solve the problem, right? When I mentioned earlier, I said people are not aware, right? Take, for instance, if you go out there now and ask people on the street of Abuja, what is your area council are receiving as monthly FAC allocation that is coming from the federal government since last year? They don't know.
Do they even know the meaning of FAC allocation? Is it an acronym for something? FAC?
Yes,
the FAC allocation is an acronym for the Federal Accounts and Allocation Committee.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's gotten from the account of the Federation, Office of the Federation.
So you mean every month?
Yes, every month.
Every month.
Every month, states, area councils are allocated this FAC allocation. That is apart from the IGR, their internally generated revenue.
To the tune of how much? Can you share? Like, is it up to 50,000, 100,000?
It comes in millions and sometimes
millions.
Yes, in hundreds.
Hundreds of millions, not just millions, hundreds of millions.
Interesting.
Yes.
This is very interesting. I mean, this conversation has been quite expository. I am so happy to know that in addition to other stakeholders, Statecraft Foundation is carrying out some projects and all those things that you have mentioned.
Yes, thank you.
And so when did it start? When did you start doing this, and how long would this actually elapse?
Okay, after we've discovered that local government are still not meeting to the expectation after the judgment, we started implementing this project from June this year, and we intend to round up the project by end of the year. Yes, as a pilot phase.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So, are you carrying out this project across all of the FCT? Are there specific places that these projects are going to be carried out?
It is across the FCT area councils. Each area councils, the 6 area councils, we have representatives, we have fellows that represent each area council.
Can we be clear on what the area councils are? Sorry, again, just...
Okay, we have AMAC, Abuja Municipal Area Council. We have Buhari Area Council. We have Abaji Area Council. We have Kwali Area Council, Kuje Area Council, and Gwagwalada Area Council.
Interesting.
Yes.
Interesting. So I'm quite impressed. I just want to ask, in all this, what is actually the objective of this LAFAC project which you have mentioned? And do you think the activities you have chosen are actually best fit for the problems you have mentioned? I just want to lay emphasis on that. I know you have actually spoken about how you came up with the activities and all, but I want to lay emphasis on what that is, just to be clear.
Okay, one of the objectives is simplifying and amplifying key issues, the trends, and the economic indices. That is the FAC allocation, the budget, the expenditures of the 6 area councils of the FCT to promote accountability and efficiency of the area councils.
Okay, so the second objective would be what?
Promoting and consolidating the function of the area council towards closing the service delivery gap.
Okay, so
Yes.
are there other, what phase of the project are you currently on right now? Have you implemented? Are you designing? Are you?
Oh, we have implemented a series of activity. Currently, we are implementing the what's it called now? The episodes of podcasts which we are already implementing. Right? We have implemented the training of fellows, which they are already carrying out. They are engaging their
action
local
plan,
government,
yes.
area councils across the FCT, right? And then we have also engaged with stakeholders. So we are already implementing.
Okay, are
Yes.
those, so engaging with stakeholders, the podcasts which we currently are on right now,
Yes.
and also the training of fellows.
Yes.
Training of fellows. Who are these fellows? Who are they? Are they?
The fellows are youths from the 6 area councils. We have representatives, we have persons with disabilities also to promote inclusion. So we also included persons with disabilities. We have fellows representing from the 6 area councils, and they are between the ages of 18 and 35, all youths.
So how were they selected? I mean, we know of the usual way where you have an uncle call you to do. How were they selected?
No.
What are their benefits? Why are they interested in this conversation in the first place?
See, when you mention in Statecraft Foundation, our processes are very free and we don't do recommendation. First of all, when we put out the call and they applied, over 500 applied, right? And
We shortlisted 51.
only
but we were
50
able
was
to train
shortlisted.
36 fellows.
So we
Okay.
trained 37 rather,
Okay.
37 fellows.
Okay,
Yes.
that's interesting. So at this point, let's go on a short break.
Okay.
And when we return, we shall be discussing more about the ongoing efforts towards the development and progress on the area councils of the FCT. Thank you so much. So welcome back from the short break.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Still with me in the studio are Jeremiah Ekele Akwu and Christiana Shekwoyemilo Tukura. And we have been discussing about the functions of the local governments with specific focus on the area councils. And as we have said earlier, this first episode was focusing targetedly or succinctly on their development and their progress. Before we went on break, I know you had mentioned the LAFAC project. You have mentioned some of the objectives. I mean, you mentioned 2 objectives and a number of activities that you have been implementing. One should think that this has been all rosy, or maybe it's been a roller coaster. I don't know. Do you want to share with us how it has been? Have you experienced any challenge in the course of carrying out the project?
Of course, it has not been rosy. However, we are determined to still carry on the project either ways. One of the challenges we are encountering is the budget. Like we mentioned, one of our activity is simplifying key economic indices. One of them is the expenditure and the budget. Right.
Is it expenditure of the project or what?
No, expenditure of the area councils.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a document, a public document.
Okay.
Yes. And
the
also
budget,
the annual budget.
of the area councils?
Yes,
okay.
of the area councils. Now,
You don't have access to this?
we don't have access to it. And we are trying to engage the stakeholders, and we are still finding it difficult. Which, although I believe we will surmount it.
I mean, it's quite funny. You want to share some insights on this?
Okay, so to buttress on his point, so one of our key activities is the analyzing of the FAC allocation. We have 12 to analyze, and we are currently in November, the 11th month, but we currently just have 8, and we have already analyzed the 8 FAC allocations.
Eight of
That's
the
for
months?
August.
Okay,
Yes,
so
from
January
January
through to August?
Yes. November and October is not yet out.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean...
And this is supposed to be out monthly.
Okay,
These
so
are
promptly.
allocations that are...
So it is not promptly
Yes,
updated,
yes.
and this is the fact the Federal Accounts and Allocation
Yes,
Committee allocation
Yes.
by the federal government.
Yes.
So we may
From
want
the
to
office
say,
of the accountant.
okay, what do you think could be? I mean, you've talked about the delay in the what I call it, the release of this allocation, not to the local government, but the document that captures this allocation.
Yes.
You have talked about the unavailability, of the budget. And so how would you now disseminate? How would you now raise awareness? How are you navigating that?
Well, like she mentioned, we have already analyzed 8 of those documents. Now, one thing I wanted to understand is these documents are not simple to understand. They are complex documents.
In numbers.
So our activities is to simplify it to the barest minimum where a layman can set his eyes upon it and understand. Yes. So we, like she mentioned, we have analyzed and disseminated. It's all on all our social media handles, right? 8 of the monthly FAC allocation.
Before we move on to the next question, you have raised something very important. I don't know what could be the reason why the budget monthly, is this peculiar to the FCT? Is it a general problem with all of the local governments? What do you suspect could be the reason?
It's a general problem with all the local governments in Nigeria because they don't have functional websites. There are no functional websites where you can access this information. Some states don't even have website, not to even talk of the local government. So you cannot get a website where you go and access this information. So there is no how they can upload this information. And possibly, even if you get this information, it will be in hard copy that you have to transcribe it to soft copy before analyzing it. So now we don't even have the website, and I feel maybe these documents are very sacred because they are in numbers.
Sacred?
Yes.
I mean, it's funny.
Yes, you don't just...
Sacred to the public, sacred to, I don't know.
The government.
Why should it be sacred?
These are budget and expenditure. This is where you will know if they are really functioning well. This is budget, then the expenditure. Then you get to analyze both the budget and expenditure and compare it.
Is there any law that compels them? Maybe we should start from there. Is there any law that compels them to actually release this? And would they be flouting any law if they don't release these breakdowns?
I believe there is, but I can't really pinpoint right now. But I believe there is, right? Because the money is taxpayer money, right? So we have every right to know where this money is going. We have every right to know what has been spent on and what is left, right? That's why we have the expenditure, the annual expenditure that each local government, state, and the federal government publishes, right? So it's supposed to be a public document and not something that they keep secret. He mentioned being secret because while we were talking with someone the other day, the person mentioned that why are they keeping it? Is it a secret cult something? And it was funny. That's why we mentioned it.
So, when you analyze and compare the budget and the expenditure, the IGR and the FAC allocation, you know the amount that is left, the balance brought forward, everything. And then you will be able to demand and hold them accountable. Okay, this is what was given to you. This is what you did with the money. And this is what is left of the money. So where is the remaining money?
Indeed, there are a lot of issues with our local government, but I know that while this may be a general problem, I mean, there should be some models, that there should be some outliers, there should be some local government or some states that are doing things rightly. I know of a state, Kaduna State. I know you can always see their monthly expenditure.
Recently,
and
even
all
the
that.
Chukun local government held a town hall meeting for the budget preparation.
I'm having goosebumps. I mean, this should be
like something that
a
should
reality.
be a
So
reality
it's
everywhere.
leading me to my next question, and I would just want to ask quickly that what do you see as an ideal situation on the functional and accountable local government? Can you paint a picture of that? Can you run us through what should be an ideal situation in theory, in practice? I mean, just...
Okay. To me, the ideal area council or local government is that local government or area council that is accountable, takes initiative. Initiative, by what I mean by that is taking initiative, knowing what the community they represent wants, and then giving it to them or providing it for them.
How would they know what the community wants?
Okay, let me give an instance. The other day we went on a field trip to one of the community in the FCT, Lanto, and our fellow there on one of our projects mentioned to us that when they met with their area council, Kuji area council chairman, he said he knows what the community needs. It doesn't require them coming to remind him, right?
Okay. But so has he done it? Has he addressed
it? It has not been done. It has not been done.
Okay.
Right? But what I'm just trying to say is area councils are supposed to take initiative. No, because before the judgment, let's say before the judgment, the Constitution placed them as a subordinate to the state government, right? But after this judgment, we expect that area councils and local government councils are supposed to take initiative because these resources are now coming to them directly, right? And then they should be accountable for it.
Okay, so still on the ideal situation, you have mentioned taking initiative.
Yes,
you have mentioned being accountable. I know you may want to chip in, but I would really want us to break this down.
Okay.
I mean, most of our listeners are people. What does accountability mean? What does it mean? Does it mean, I mean, do you want to spell that out? Is there what the Constitution says? Is there what the international community says? Is there what the community, the residents of the area councils have expectation? Before you come, I know you wanted to say, chip in something to what it was, the ongoing question.
So an ideal situation is being transparent. These FAC allocations, budget, expenditures, IGRs, that's the internal generated revenue, they should be transparent. There should be a functional website where each local government and area councils monthly they upload these budgets, FAC allocations to the public. And I feel they should not just upload it, the numbers alone, because the average Nigerian man does not understand those big numbers. So it should be simplified to their understanding.
Okay.
The budgets and the expenditures, they should be simplified. And then they should hold town hall meetings for these budget preparations to involve the area councils. Let them know that, okay, we are also involved in this. And I feel also the area council, that is the population, they should also show interest. Sometimes, I feel the government, when they feel they are not even interested, the public are not even interested. That is why they do what they feel like and they are not being held accountable.
Okay, so you've spoken on the part of the government, on the part of the area councils, and I hear you have said a lot about maybe their constitutional obligation or the expectation. How does this trickle down to development in the communities? I mean, a picture of a functional local government beyond the administrative. I'm now talking about, can we say there is number one local government in Nigeria, and what can we say this local government have, both in terms of administrative and also infrastructure and services? What do you feel is the ideal situation?
So, let's
before you continue, I know you had wanted to say something when I cut you short.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. When you mentioned accountability, that I should break it down a bit. I am still thinking about it. But however, accountability is coming out to say. Let me use an instance so that I will not give a literal theoretical definition. Right now, an area council should come out and have a town hall meeting with people. This is how much we have received. This is how much we have spent. These are the projects we have implemented, right? Let the people know what you are doing for them, what you are using the resources that you are receiving to do. That is the accountability I'm talking about.
Okay,
right?
I mean, it's been an interesting conversation so far. I know that we can't capture all of the explanations and definitions and all
definitely.
that. I mean, this is why this podcast exists, and there are some of the feedback we are going to be getting from the conversation that will build up onto other conversations that we'll be having with more experts and even stakeholders. And I want to ask this question. How does LAFAC project contribute to this ideal situation that you have rightly pointed out? You talked about accountability. Yes. You talked about being transparent. How does the LAFAC project contribute? You gave a case study of the Lanto community in Kuje Area Council.
Yes.
How does this project contribute to that?
Let me go first. It will contribute to from the name LAFAC, right? Localizing autonomy in the FCT Area Council. What does localizing mean, right? To bring down to the barest minimum.
Okay.
To institutionalize, right? Now,
I love that word, institutionalize.
Yes.
More like establishing.
Establishing it,
okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now, how will it contribute? It will contribute where the people themselves, the residents themselves, take initiative. And that is a major motivation why we train fellows, right? And we have over 80 people as, what do you call it? Now? Volunteers.
Okay.
Ready to engage their area council.
Direct and indirect beneficiaries.
Yes. Over 80 persons.
Okay.
Across the FCT Area Council. Now, what are they doing that will contribute? Now, engaging their area council. Okay. Because there are some, you may go to a typical community in the FCT and you will not believe this is the FCT. You will not believe it. Meanwhile, if you are in Namak, you feel like, oh, this is the city.
Okay.
But yet, they are still in the same FCT. Now, when these people have identified what the community needs, right, they will now approach the local government. Just as we have mentioned earlier, the ideal local government, we mentioned that they should hold town hall meeting with their residents. Right, they should be included. The people should be included in the budgetary process. So
the fellows you have trained,
yes,
are going to be driving this.
Yes,
are going to be facilitating this. Okay.
So, let me start with the ideal situation that you said a local government should have. At least a street name. Some streets, you go to some area councils, some streets don't have names. Before you drop from bike, you are going to a new area. You have to, the person you are going to meet, you have to call the person, and the person will say, let me speak to the bike man first. Because some streets don't have names. Okay. The roads are very bad. You go to the last time we went to one of our project sites in Ijapada, the roads are very bad. The local roads there, you cannot even, I don't think you can even go there with a car. The roads there are bad.
FCT.
Yes,
wow.
This is FCT.
This is interesting. I mean, if this works, I see a lot of communities who benefit from this, because I remembered staying in one location at some point in time, and there used to be a mango tree, and that mango tree was like the landmark. When you get to the mango tree, you turn left. And then some time later, I visited and saw that mango tree was cut down.
Oh,
so I'm now wondering.
So imagine if someone is coming to see you
landmark of that place. So it's been so interesting.
Again, you should serve as the LAFAC project should serve as a call to action. one of our success stories that we had recently was in the Lanto community when we went to visit. And he said after the training of the project for last year, he had the boldness to write to his area council.
I recall.
Yes. So this is what we want. And then just on Saturday, we had a football match between two area councils, between our fellows. And we had testimonies. Some people are saying they are going to write to their area council concerning the street names and so many other things. This is what we want, and these are the stories we want to hear.
So adding to what she said, by the time
last words, so we can wrap up.
Okay, by the time we are done, and the awareness has been increased, people will now begin to demand for what they want.
Okay.
Yes. So this is where we are heading towards. Closing those infrastructural and service delivery gaps. So that the residents can now begin to take actions. Yes.
Not just being observers and complainers, but can actually, because it can be excused to say some of the area councils, unlike the chairman of Lanto or for Kuje, some of the area councils may not be aware that those they can claim ignorance. Okay, that's been a very interesting one. I want to thank both of you for your time today. Thank you for joining us on today's episode of the Fourth Schedule podcast. Do follow us on all social media platforms with the handles displayed on the screen to be up to date with the podcast and other activities of the foundation. Bye for now.